I'm going to show you one simple trick to become a millionaire overnight. That's right, a millionaire overnight. One simple trick. Wait for it. So don't you love a bit of clickbait? Yes, I hope you clicked on this expecting to be a millionaire overnight. Don't worry, that tip will come later and I'll tell you all about how I became a millionaire overnight. The weird thing is that these thumbnails and adverts or whatever you see, they seem to work. They must work, otherwise they wouldn't be out there all the time. But you look at the views and you see that about 2 million people have clicked on this link telling them how to be a billionaire overnight. They're not usually quite as bad as this one about how to become a billionaire overnight, but I'm hoping that people will realize that that's obvious clickbait and won't click on it expecting to be a billionaire overnight. And in reality, I don't think enough people watch my blog in the first place to get it up there to become a viral success or anything like that. But what I want to talk about today is really goals and aspirations, and why do lots of people want to become a billionaire? And you might be thinking, well, this is supposed to be a creative blog. Well, I will get to that later and it will all make sense, I promise. So I have actually clicked on these links in the past. You see them in your sort of recommendations down the side and you think, oh, how to become a millionaire in 3 simple steps or whatever it might be. And I click on it and I think, oh, okay, sometimes they have some good advice, but generally speaking, it's clickbait. But what is it that made me want to click on that link, and why did I in the past and so many other people want to become billionaires? These clickbait titles often have a fast car, a really big mansion, or maybe someone sitting by a beach somewhere in some really exotic place. And those things seem very tempting and really exciting to strive for. But I want you to try this quick test now. So if you had £1 billion, dollars, whatever it might be that your currency is, and assuming that, we'll say it's dollars because everybody understands dollars. So if you had $1 billion, what would you do with it? Have a quick think. So there's bound to be lots of different opinions out there, but a lot of the time, the common one that's going to come up is a big house, big mansion, or buy an island somewhere and live on that. Maybe a fast car is in there somewhere, so you're going to need a big island to drive your car around. Helicopter, I'll get a helicopter. Love the idea of being on a beach and it's really sunny, going for a swim, all sounds very good. But my question at this point is, well then what? Then what do you do? Once you've bought loads of stuff, the novelty wears off. Have you noticed that when you buy something new, you're really excited? It doesn't take long before that novelty wears off and it becomes just an ordinary thing. I think there's so much more to human beings than the stuff we buy. We want to be part of a group, we want to be wanted by other people, we want to be needed. So the fast cars, the big house, and everything like that becomes pretty boring and mundane compared to human interactions, generally speaking. So if you're anything like me, and you probably are because you're watching this and we talk about creative stuff, particularly 3D, well, you might be thinking, well, I might make a game and put some money into creating a game, or maybe make a movie or something, or a movie/game. I think for many people, when they answer that question, they get over all the helicopter and beach and fast car stuff, then they really start to think about what they actually want in life. Let's say money was no object, you could do whatever you want, what would you do? And I think finding out what that is that you want to do, and then following that course and going on that journey, that's real success. Now, many of you might be thinking, you're absolutely crazy, that's impossible, we can't all follow our dreams like that, and I understand where you're coming from. So as I came to the end of my school life, and I wanted to get a career, I thought, well, there's 3 things that I need out of a career, and it can be a combination of them or any single one of these. The first is to make loads of money, then I don't need to worry about anything ever again. The second one was to really enjoy what I do, then every day I get up, I'm doing what I love, so life is brilliant. And the third one is to really make an impact or a difference in other people's lives. I think the third one is probably the most aspirational to live by, and perhaps that's where we should all be heading. But I think the first one of making loads of money, I'm really going against that now, because I do notice lots of people who work really, really hard, but that seems to be their life, and they've kind of put life to one side so they can work really hard and make lots of money, or maybe manage to support their lifestyle that it is at the moment. And it may be that some of those people haven't got a particularly high paid job, but they just have to work really hard just to support themselves. And yes, there will be some people in those jobs who are kind of trapped in those jobs because they have to support their family, and it must be very tough for them. But I'm just trying to get across my point of view. Do we need to keep working and working in dead-end jobs, or can you think about something that you'd rather be doing and work towards that? And maybe do everything you can to work yourself into that direction. Now, I'm not saying just give up everything and go across and follow your dreams. It does take time and it takes a bit of planning as well, but Do follow your dreams, and maybe think about the reasons that you're still in that job and what's holding you to it. I know a guy that's really working hard because he wants to send his kids to boarding school. So he's working really hard, getting really stressed, and he's got quite a difficult working life balance and home life balance. And he really isn't getting on well with his kids because of all this stress that he's under. And I think that person really needs to think about his relationship with his kids rather than thinking about working harder so he can send them away. And the reason I say this is that often we look for a monetary solution as if that's going to solve our problems, and that's what this person is doing. So if you are in a job that you don't like, then try as much as you can to work in the evenings, to focus on getting out of that job and into something that's more suited to you. Again, I know that's easy for me to say in my position because I'm lucky enough to have found that nice job that I like, but I wasn't always in this job. When I did my university degree, it was in media studies. We didn't have a 3D modelling or games design degree, and I would have much rather taken that. Before I went to university, I worked in a pig factory, a paper factory, and they were horrible places to work in, and you'd be on a production line, moving one thing from there to there, or I'd be chopping up ham in this pig factory, and I'd go home stinking, my clothes would be horribly covered in this sort of pig slime. And at that time it did feel kind of hopeless, and that's when I thought, well, I've got to move on, I've got to go somewhere. And I was lucky enough to be able to take a degree, and lucky enough to have parents to support me in doing that. But for many people, I wouldn't recommend going on a degree course now. There's enough out there just on YouTube that you can learn a career from. So going back to those three things, there's making a massive difference in someone else's life, so maybe being a charity worker or maybe even a secondary school teacher in a tough school. I wouldn't recommend it because it was really hard and I got out pretty quick. But those people can feel really good about themselves that stick at those jobs, work hard for other people. Well done to you. Then of course there's doing what you really love, and that's the dream I'm following at the moment, and I'm really enjoying it. There is of course that first one about making loads of money, and I'm going much further against that idea. I really don't think it makes sense unless you're that sort of entrepreneur who loves making money. Then fair enough, that's your dream and you're kind of meeting the second objective anyway. Try not to step on the third where you're actually pushing people down in order to make your money though. But if you're in that first one, trying to make loads of money, and all you're doing is working really hard, desperately trying to become a millionaire or whatever it is, then you probably need to rethink, is this really where you want your life to be? What will you actually do when you get all that money? And it's actually extremely unlikely that you're able to get to that level. For many people, they're just maintaining this strange lifestyle of going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home, being really shattered, working extremely long hours to try and earn that extra bit of cash to buy some more things, maybe for their kids, so maybe that's a great thing. And do you get to see much of your kids if you're working that much? So my one simple trick to becoming a billionaire overnight is to actually change your focus and find something more fulfilling in your life. I feel sometimes that I'm one of the richest people I know. I'm very much where I want to be in life. Every now and again I think, oh, wouldn't it be great to have £1 million? So I'm going to try really hard on my YouTube channel. So how can I get more subscribers? There's a few things that I'd really like to buy. I'd like a new computer with a great graphics card in it so I can sculpt without it lagging every now and again. But I can't really justify these things, and I need to find better ways of using what I have currently in a more effective way. And here I am making a video that's probably going to be seen about 700 times, I think, is roughly what I get on average for these sort of YouTube vlogs that I do. But I'm really loving it. This is great fun to me. I love sharing my opinions and finding out other people's opinions, so make sure you comment. So in terms of a creative lifestyle, I'm living the dream. I'm certainly not earning lots of money doing it, but I really feel like I'm successful in what I do. So what are your goals and aspirations? What sort of career do you want? And can you turn your hobbies and interest into a career? Think to yourself, what would you do if you had £1 billion and once you spent it all on the helicopters? And can you actually start doing that now rather than needing £1 million to do that thing? I think the people that I look up to the most these days are not the Elon Musks that earn billions of pounds, but those people that have managed to follow their dreams and are still following it, even though it hasn't made them into a millionaire. Perhaps they've made a game and they're still making games and they haven't got much of an audience, but they love making those sort of games. So go out there and follow your dreams. Again, I'm going to say, make sure you have a bit of a plan. Don't just scrap everything and go, I'm going to follow my dreams. It will probably take you time to adapt and learn what you need to learn in order to change career paths, but it is doable. I am living proof that it's doable. So perhaps make that game in your spare time, even if it's only like 30 minutes a day. Make that game, sell a few copies, and then see if you can make a career out of it and have fun on that journey of discovery. As always, this is my opinion and from my experience, so I apologise if I'm offending anybody in this way and if you're working really hard just to survive. And I appreciate this isn't going to apply to everybody. But if you are able to, I strongly recommend you follow your dreams, rather than following the money. If you have any thoughts, then do comment below or get across to the Discord server and chat to me there. You can of course join in the competitions, 2D or 3D, it's a Christmas theme at the moment. So get along there, chat to me, and thanks for watching.